The British government has announced deep, legally binding cuts to carbon emissions. The ambitious program will see cuts of 50% by 1990 levels by 2027. And the government promises the cuts will lead to higher economic growth. From London, Philip Williams reports.
With little fanfare and not a whole lot of public reaction, the British government has just committed to what it says is the most ambitious carbon reduction program in the world. A 50% cut on 1990 levels by 2027, which means a whole lot more of these. They may not always be welcome in the neighbourhood, but if the target's to be met, too bad. It also means a big increase in solar output at both a domestic and an industrial scale. And electric cars will have to become more than just a niche market adopted by well-heeled, green-aware drivers. All of which, according to the government, adds up to an environmentally propelled industrial revolution.
The fourth carbon budget places the UK at the leading edge of the global low-carbon industrial revolution.
Rather than create division between industry and environmentalists, the government is attempting to knit the two together by promising support for new industries, like this just-opened factory in Wales which makes wind power towers, and a plan to transform the waterfront here in the city of Hull to create a brand new industry manufacturing the wind turbines.
It's best to think of this as the birth of a new manufacturing industry, perhaps the first post-war, certainly the first in 50 years in the UK.
But not everyone's happy. The steel industry fears the compensation mechanisms to cover higher electricity costs simply won't be enough, leaving it at a competitive disadvantage.
There are dangers that if we push too far ahead of the rest of Europe, actually we won't be setting a good example, because there will be a hit to competitiveness and to economic growth. So we won't be setting a good example to the rest of the world.
Despite those reservations, this has been cautiously welcomed.
Currently, Britain's commitments are, I think, the highest in the world. It needs to be said, however, that there are other countries that are also moving very fast in terms of developing renewable energy and investing in green technologies. They may not have made a public commitment to do so. So we shouldn't run away with the idea that it's only Britain taking action here. In fact, countries like Korea, China are actually doing an enormous amount, and all countries actually need to do much, much more.
The big difference between Australia and Britain is that here it's for some reason no longer a headline issue. To illustrate that, on the BBC News when this announcement was made, it ran number 6, just behind the story about the dog that fell over a cliff. Philip Williams, Late